Hi guys and welcome back to the series called, What If Deku Had the World? If you enjoy the video, consider liking and subscribing. Without further ado, let's continue the story. Beginning of Season 3, Episode 1, Day Off. Welcome back to our summer special, said a nice polite woman who was sitting down next to the symbol of peace. All Might, the journey from number 1 hero to UA. High school teacher. Today we'll be looking back over All Might's achievements and his incredible rise to. Before the female show host finished her sentence, the TV was turned off by Kurogiri. I figured it out, said Tamura. I know why the hero killer pisses me off and why the UA students including Midoriya annoy me. It's because of All Might and that stupid grin. It's like he doesn't have a care in the world. He thinks he can save everyone with no problem at all. Almost like he's completely undefeatable. Tamura stands up and leaves the bar. Kurogiri looks at the picture of Izuku. Izuku Midoriya. His quirk is strangely unknown. His strength is quite potent. He finished second place even though he had every advantage to win first place. During the Hosu incident, he managed to help take down all of the Nomus we received from the boss. His capabilities captured the boss's interest. He jeopardized his life multiple times to save those around him. I think the hero killer would find him worthy of being a hero. Tamura was walking down an alleyway thinking about what the world would be like after he killed All Might. I'll show society how fragile their scene of safety is. Elsewhere, Deku was at a nearby gym in his neighborhood training with weights. He was bench pressing and curling around 250 pounds. He was doing 25 in each set. He repeated 4 times before leaving. Time skipped to later in the day. Deku was chilling at his apartment watching the same video of All Might saving over 100 people within 10 minutes. Thanks All Might. There are times I doubt myself, but thanks to you and my mother, I've gotten stronger. Deku, said the world, there's something strange about your powers. Your strength skyrocketed during the sports festival tournament. I have been doing a lot of thinking and came up with this assumption. You might have tapped into a hidden strength. I know that my old owner had powers like superhuman strength, but that glow signifies that you're tapping into a strength beyond humanity itself. It reminds me of how my old user was trying to gain a power called Heaven. I knew that the Red Asia amulet did something to make you immune to sunlight, however, there's something else I don't get. From what I know, it turns vampires into the ultimate version of themselves. Maybe it's something that you can trigger to happen. The doorbell to Deku's apartment rings. The world disappears back into Deku's body as he goes to check who's outside. It was Mineta and Denki. They wanted Deku to come hang out at the pool with them. At UA, Vlad King and Shota were planning on increasing their students' quirk control and powers. Vlad King asks Shota if he can explain everyone's quirks in his class. He explains everyone's quirks like normal until he gets to Midoriya. Izuku Midoriya. His quirk is called the World. He has what Tokiyami has, but it's invisible to others unless they're powerful enough to see it. He possesses the absolute ability to stop time, making him the only person able to freely move within the frozen realm unless you're strong enough to move in his realm of frozen time. All Might is the only person who's actually able to move within the frozen realm for a few seconds. He's also a vampire with abilities like ice powers, flight, laser vision, etc. He's an expert at throwing and handling blades. He might have shared his powers with Todoroki due to how he and Midoriya fight similarly. Still, he's an excellent tactician and fighter. Denki, Deku, and Mineta arrived and asked Shota if they were able to use the pool for training, which he confirmed. This is a trick, Denki and Mineta only wanted to use the pool to see the girls in revealing outfits since they heard the girls say they bought bikinis but couldn't go on vacation to wear them. They only wanted to bring Izuku with them so they could get pool access since they feared that they wouldn't be allowed if it was just them asking. They started to rush to the doors hoping to see the girls in their newly bought bikinis. To Mineta and Denki's surprise, every boy in Class 1A was there. Deku revealed that he texted everyone to meet up at the school's pool for endurance and speed training. Some of the boys were jealous of how built Deku's body was compared to theirs. They knew Deku trained hard but not this hard. He was built like The Rock aka Dwayne Johnson. The Class 1A girls eventually came and started playing in the pool. They asked Shota to use the pool to goof around and play. Deku asked his classmates if they wanted to race for training. Everyone happily said yes as they started to get ready to race. All the races went as usual, but there were some differences though. Ida was dead so he wasn't there and that meant Mineta and Denki didn't get tired but they still didn't want to race. Deku and Todoroki had an easier time winning since they're vampires. Todoroki swam and by swam I meant he used his flight power underwater. Deku was using his stand's leg to jump across the water with ease. Their power and speed, alone and combined, far exceeded everyone in their class. Deku, Todoroki, and Bakugo were going to race against each other. The final race was about to start and the girls started cheering for Deku to win. Deku easily wins the race by time stopping but notices Todoroki and Bakugo's quirks aren't working as they fall into the water. Shota Aizawa arrived and told the students that their time to use the pool was up as it was already 5 p.m. The students wanted to stay another minute to see the trio race. Shota shoots a cold glare that shuts the students up as they start leaving. Bakugo and Kirishima were walking home together. Bakugo was irritated that Shota stopped the race before it even started. Kirishima says that Bakugo needs to look at his classmates as their teammates, not just rivals. Bakugo tells his hardening teammate that he doesn't care for that bullshit and he tells him that he will catch up and surpass Deku and Todoroki. At night, Todoroki was practicing using One for All at 30% full cowling with his fire and power against Deku while All Might and Gran Torino watched. He was doing well with it since he could use his vampirism powers to heal himself if he got hurt. A small part of Deku's mind was thinking about what the world said earlier about the hidden ultimate power inside him and the power called Heaven. At the UA High School, Shota and Vlad King were talking about how the training grounds changed locations. Just in case information is getting leaked to the League of Villains. Only upper management of UA will know where it is. Don't give this information to the students or anyone else. The Vlad King agrees on these terms. Back at the Villains Bar hideout, there's something I'd like you to prepare for me, said Tamura talking on the phone. It's time to play a brand new game. Episode 2. Summer Camp Training. It is revealed that Tamura had a team on standby gathering information on where the students were heading for the summer. Kurogiri and Tamura were having a small conversation until Jiren walked in. I heard back from the union today, said Jiren. You can expect a delivery tomorrow. It was thrown together quickly so it might not look like much, but the quality is guaranteed. Jiren says that they only accepted this order because they have high expectations from Tamura. If the league steps into the spotlight, then there'll be others who'll follow. After Jiren leaves, Tamura says that it's time to begin the games. Summer vacation has finally arrived. Shota tells the class that they won't be taking it easy. They'll have to train harder and push beyond their limits while they're at the camp. Shota is about to ask Deku where Todoroki is when he's cut off in the middle of his sentence. Todoroki, come down with the special project. Deku tells his class that they might want to look towards the roof. Everyone starts giving their full attention to the roof of the school. An ice slide was formed as two people rode it down. After reaching the bottom, everyone in class recognized Todoroki, but they started freaking out when they noticed who the second person was. Tenya Ida, the class asked, shocked and confused. The one and only, said Deku. Hi guys, said Tenya while bowing, long time no see. Everyone was trying to calm themselves down as they were having a hard time believing that Tenya was alive. Tenya was wearing a blue hoodie and a Spider-Man-like mask to protect himself from the sun. Some people thought that the Tenya Ida look-alike was a fake. Tenya used Recipro Burst and Speed blitzed around everyone, creating huge wind pressures that almost blew some of the students away and lifted some of the girls' skirts and their hair. This guy had the same quirk as Ida, but it was a lot stronger. This was the true Tenya Ida. But how did Tenya Ida get brought back from the dead? Allow me to explain, said Deku. Flashback to the night after the speedster's funeral. Deku and Todoroki were using shovels to dig up Tenya's coffin. They had a dead body of a villain who had the same hairstyle and facial features as the young speedster. After digging up the coffin, they swapped out Tenya's cold lifeless body with the dead body they brought with them. Deku and Todoroki flew off with the body as they decided to go to Deku's place. After arriving at Izuku's house, they proceeded with the plan of reviving Tenya. This part was left out of Izuku's story, but this is the rest of what happened. Deku uses his stand to manually pump Tenya Ida's heart while Todoroki uses his vampirism powers to pump blood into his body. A minute later, Tenya starts to gain awareness. He's freaking out because he died a day ago. He was in heaven a minute ago, but now he's back alive on Earth. You might be asking yourself how you are alive, said Deku with a small grin. Well, let's just say I revived you to offer you a deal. I am giving you a second chance to become the third greatest upcoming hero next to me. To become my servant. To get revenge on the legendary hero killer and help your brother get out of the hospital faster. Or I can put you back to sleep permanently. What do you say? Tenya starts thinking to himself about what he should do. However, even after death, he still wants to get his lick back at the hero killer. Tenya nods and agrees to Deku's proposal as he's handed the stone mask without the Asia stone from Deku to wear. Put that on and fulfill your destiny, said Deku. Tenya puts the mask next to his face as Deku pours some blood on the mask, which triggers it to turn on. After the vampiration transformation is complete, Deku gives Tenya some new clothes to block the sun's rays from burning him alive. I shall teach you the powers of a vampire before we leave for the trip in a few days. Back to the present, Shota was furious at Deku for resurrecting and tampering with Tenya's dead body. Izuku Midoriya, said Shota, what the hell have you done? We never gave you permission to remove his body and use your powers. He was finally at peace until you ruined it for him. I should expel you for this stunt. Oh, calm down, Mr. Aizawa, said Deku, we both know you would never do that. After all, what's the point of an amazing power if there's no use for it? Besides, I probably saved you guys so much paperwork. You should thank me, especially after the fact that you would have been dead if I hadn't saved you in time. It's none of your business if I decide to give others a second chance at life. You can't stop me even if you did have the chance. Shota was about to expel Deku, but Tenya cut him off, saying that it wasn't Deku's fault and that it was his. He only died because he didn't obey his mentor's rules and orders when he was alive the first time. He died due to a grudge against the hero killer, which caused his downfall. He asks that Deku not get punished and to be punished instead. Shota thinks about what he should do in this situation. He wants to expel Izuku for crossing the line, but he thinks about what Tenya said. If Tenya did get killed in an act of retribution, he'd probably do the same thing again. Shota gives Deku a first and final warning for the stunt and gives Tenya a verbal warning about disobeying his instructor. He tells Tenya that if he keeps disobeying orders from his superiors, he'll be kicked out of UA. Everyone is confused as they asked how Deku could revive Tenya if he never had a resurrection-like quirk, or any quirk for that matter. Deku smiles as he tells everyone that he has something more powerful than a quirk. Deku says that he'd wished he could tell them more, but they knew if he did, they'd be in danger. Deku says that there could probably be a snitch among them, alerting the League of Villains about what the class will be doing every day. Everyone starts respecting Deku even more, and some are even frightened by his skills, powers, and the fact that he's a vampire. Shota tells everyone to get on the bus to leave. Here's the deal, we'll be on this bus for about an hour before our first stop. Make sure to stay focused. Everyone is calmer than canon due to their focus being on Deku. They want to know what's the true power of Dio, aka Deku. Deku is sitting next to Todoroki on the bus while Tenya is sitting in the seat behind both of them. Master Dio, said Tenya, will you and Todoroki be training me on using the full power of the stone mask? Deku nods, which excites Tenya. Tenya, you will have to prove your worth of being my servant, only then will I evolve you into the ultimate version of yourself. Also, keep your clothes and that mask on so the sunlight doesn't kill you. Dio, said Tenya with a soft tone, I will serve you with my life since you have given me a second chance. Deku starts grinning because he's excited that he's making a super squad of vampires. After arriving on a mountain top, they stopped next to a mysterious black car that had a superhero duo dressed like cats that would train both Class 1A and Class 1B. The duo called themselves the Wild Wild Pussycats. Deku calmly asked the duo if they were the same heroes of the four-person squad from the last decade. The duo said yes. The cat girl with red clothes and ears explains that they own everything including the land. She tells the students that the forest lodge is at the base of the mountains. Some of the students start thinking that the reason they brought them to the top of the mountain is because it was a test. They were correct. This is a challenge. They had to get to the forest lodge before noon if they wanted lunch served to them. Shota tells Deku is tasked with helping everyone get to the forest lodge or he doesn't get blood or food to eat. Some of the students try to get back onto the bus to escape this training, but Pixie Bob, the other cat girl, utilizes her quirk to make all the students his flight power fall into the beast's forest. Deku looked at Shota with an annoyed face and started flying down. Everyone was already being attacked by some rock monsters. Don't you think you got them on a crazy schedule, Eraser? Asked the red cat lady hero. Shota says yes to this question because he plans on getting his students a whole second semester's worth of knowledge here. After all, it'll pay off in the long run due to the amount of villain attacks that's been going on lately. He wants them to be prepared for anything at any time. If this goes well, they'll be allowed to work as heroes and be allowed to use their quirks in case of emergencies. Back in the forest, Deku, Bakugo, Kirishima, and Tenya are fighting against some rock monsters. Deku and Todoroki are having an easy time fighting the monsters due to their teamwork and chemistry. Real quick, if you don't play JoJo Roblox games then you won't understand the references. Todoroki dives towards one of the rock monster's heads and freezes it. He proceeds to yank it clean off its shoulders and kick it multiple times into the air like a soccer ball until it shatters into thousands of shards of ice. Nice one, Todoroki, said Deku. Thank you. Master Dio, said Todoroki. Another rock monster tries to punch Deku in the face, but Bakugo blows up its entire body with an explosion. Everyone, we have to keep moving or we'll be surrounded, said Tenya as he pointed at the approaching cement monsters. Everyone including Denki is thinking that this is a little too extreme. Rikido says that they need to hurry or they won't be getting any food to eat. Momo says that they need to use their quirks and find a way through the monsters to get to the forest lodge. Everyone is using their quirks to help take down monsters. Tenya manages to break a rock monster with his Recipro burst kick technique. Hantashiro uses his tape power to tie up a rock dragon's wings, disabling its ability to fly. Rikido and Kirishima used their super strength and hardening quirk to destroy the downed dragon. Tokiyami and Mashirao used their dark shadow and tail quirk to knock a beer belly stone monster off its feet. While Yuga Aoyama, a blonde-haired student with a stomach laser quirk, kills the fat monster. Mineta was panicking while using his grape hairballs to stick another stone monster to some of the trees. This allowed Denki to fry the monster with his electricity, which turned him into an idiot afterward. Deku, Tenya, and Todoroki were having an easy time taking down some of the monsters. Toru Hagakure, aka the Invisible Girl, was running around playing bait as Mina was using her acid powers to make two more stone monsters' legs weaker. Momo shoots down the stone monstrosities with a cannon she just created. Uraraka used her zero-gravity quirk to make one of the rock monsters light as a feather as Suyu used her frog-like tongue to toss the monster into the air. Uraraka stopped using her quirk as the monster fell and shattered into pieces. They spent hours fighting an endless wave of stone monsters. Back on the mountain top, the blue female cat teacher known as Ryoko Tsuchikawa was enjoying herself as she started making the challenge harder, the closer they got to the forest lodge. Class 1A finally got to the forest lodge after fighting for hours against monsters. All of the students except Tenya, Deku, and Todoroki were tired, but not as tired as they were in canon since the trio fought most of the rock monstrous creations. Hantashiro says that the cat lady said that the exercise was only going to take 3 hours. The red cat lady aka Mandalay only said that because it was the time it took her and Ryoko to get out of the forest. It was quite clear that she was bragging about how much more experienced they were compared to the students. Ryoko congratulates the students and starts grooming Deku, Todoroki, Tenya, and Bakugo. Deku asks about the kid they have with them. Mandalay tells Deku that the kid is her nephew who lives with them. Deku tries to introduce himself to the kid but gets punched in the nuts. Pissed off, he swiftly picks up the kid by his collar with murderous intent. He was close to ending this kid right where he stood. The kid was scared shitless because he felt the deadly presence Deku was giving off. Lucky for the kid, the female cats told Izuku to put him down or else. If Deku did something to the kid, he would be expelled. He puts the kid down as he sticks his tongue out at Deku. The kid walked away as he said to Deku, "The last thing I want to do is be friends with worthless heroes like you." Bakugo starts getting angry after Todoroki says that the kid is like a mini version of the explosive blonde. "Alright, everyone," said Shota, "get your stuff off the bus and move it inside. The sooner you guys get this done, the faster you guys can eat in the cafeteria. After that, you can bathe and sleep." After everyone was done getting everything off the bus, they had a huge feast. Everyone was chowing down on some pretty amazing food. Ryoko said that they better enjoy this since that'll be the only time her team will cook for them. Deku, Tenya, and Todoroki were sharing a gallon of actual blood mixed with soda. "Todoroki," said Deku, I want you to train Tenya about his vampire powers since I have some business to take care of at midnight. Todoroki nods in agreement. A little later, all the students take a bath together in separate bathrooms. Everyone was acting normal and relaxed except for Mineta. Mineta was listening to the girls having fun in their bath. Deku was going to destroy Mineta for being a pervert, but he decided not to since he sensed the boy on the top of the wall that separated both the girls and boys. Mineta tells the boys that he wanted a little more action, meaning he wanted to peep on the class 1A girls in their bath. Tenya tells him that he better not do that since that's disgraceful to him and the ladies. However, Mineta didn't care as he started to quickly climb the wall. As he reaches the top, he's stopped by Kota, Mandalay's nephew, who pushes Mineta off the wall. Before you become a hero, you need to learn to become a good human, said Kota. Mina thanked Kota as he accidentally saw the girls naked. Kota gets shocked and falls backward over the wall as Deku's stand, the world catches him. In the building manager's office, Mandalay says that the adrenaline rush caused him to black out during the wall. Kota was actually on top of the wall divider keeping watch because they heard that one of the boys was a pervert. Deku says he's glad that Kota's okay, but then starts thinking of what he said about heroes being worthless. Deku asks Mandalay why Kota has a grudge against heroes when other boys his age admire them. The conversation was interrupted when Ryuko walked in on both of them, saying that Mandalay's cousins, aka Kota's parents who were heroes, were slain by a villain while trying to protect citizens. It was hard for him to accept this truth. He thought his parents left him behind even when people said that his parents' sacrifice was honorable. He doesn't like Mandalay or Ryuko being heroes either. He thinks to himself that if heroes didn't exist, his parents would still be alive. Deku rubs the head of the kid and tells Mandalay that he's sorry for almost hurting the little guy. Deku starts thinking to himself that everyone is going to have their feelings about heroes and he has to take those into consideration. Before Deku left the office, Mandalay and Ryuko kissed him. They blushed as they thanked Deku and wished him a good night. Real quick, the earliest age you can have sex in Japan in real life is 16. I don't know if this is actually true though. That means that Ryuko and Mandalay will have to wait a year for Deku to turn 16. Deku likes breaking the rules a lot if stuff isn't fair. Upon leaving the office, he texts the girls to meet him in the woods. When the girls came, they were wearing some sexual vampire-like clothes. Well, let's just say he got some good wop for the girls in class 1A. After he has safe sex with them, he stands while lean it off, posing the same way Dio did while the girls keep rubbing on him. After having a fun time, they went back to the lodge and went to sleep. The next day in the morning, Shota tells the class that it's time for them to begin their training. He gives Deku a baseball and tells him to throw the baseball as far as he can. Before Deku started, he told everyone that he held his true power back since day one except for when it came to fighting All Might. Deku's eyes started to change from their only green color to a bloody red, his hair turned dark purple with yellow lines, and an aura flashing yellow and purple flashed around him. He threw the ball so hard that it created shockwaves that blew everyone away literally and figuratively. Some people were around 50 to 100 feet away and some were launched into the woods. It felt like 10 tornadoes were around them. Shota checked his phone and it said, "Error, error." Shota was speechless that Deku had this much strength. The ball left the entire atmosphere within a second. He doesn't know where Deku got this strength from. Was this from the world, his vampire abilities, or was it from training? He had the power to one-shot anyone, probably even All Might. Everyone was speechless for around 20 seconds. They were trying to gather their thoughts. Deku's hair and eyes went back to their normal colors. His aura was vanishing as quickly as it arrived. Shota asks if Deku did that by himself. Deku looks at his hand as the last of the unknown godlike power starts fading away. He heard a word through his mind as the last of the aura disappeared, KARS. Elsewhere in an abandoned factory, Toga, Dabi, a villain with a hoodie covering up his face, were plotting their next move. Yoga has got a shipment of supplies from Tamura. Dabi vows that he'll send a message to the false heroes and tear them down so they can pave the way for a better future for the world.